Hello, it's Cindy Fodor here with Stamp the Love, and it is Make It Monday, and I am really excited for a couple of reasons. One is I got my hands on my new stamp set, and I have it to show to you today. We also have the new mini catalog, and it's going out in the mail to those at a distance. For those of you that come to my class, you'll get it this week. So hopefully between the two of those, I'll have you all covered and not miss anybody this time. But I hope that as you're watching this, you'll say hello. Let me know if you have any questions. And this is class night, so it's recorded. And but I'll come back and check for any questions later. So I'm guessing that you would like to see my set. Let me see if I can show it to you here. Yeah, that's a little too bright. So let's go over to the other camera. And we'll try to see it here. It's called Shepherd's Care. I can't show you the inside of the catalog, so let me just scoot this over here a little bit. Bright light. So anyways, I'm very, very happy to introduce this. And in introducing this, if you've seen my emails, you know that I'm also having a fundraiser, excuse me, for my son and his family. Most of you know, if you know me, that he's had MS for quite a few years, and he uses a scooter, gets around with difficulty, and a cane. But anyways, he's needing to make his house a little bit more handicap accessible so that life is a little bit easier for getting around in the house and into the house. They have steps into the house. And so anyways, I'm doing a fundraiser to help with their bathroom renovation so that he can get to the shower easily and also into the house. Right now, it's only when there's issues like with fevers or things like that he can't, he's paralyzed in his legs, and otherwise he can walk with some difficulty. So anyways, when that happens, it's very difficult to get him in and out of the house. So ask me how I know that. So anyways, yes, so that event is on September 21st. And it's $50. You get the stamp set, signed stamp set. Where'd I put it? Then you also get to see if you come in person, you get to see the progression of my drawings, whatever, that I'd send to the artist. And then she would come back with something that looked decent and with my ideas. So you'll get to see the progression of that. If you can't come in person, or if you don't get registered soon enough and you miss the spot, there is also a to-go option for the retreat. And it's also $50, and I can put that in the mail to you, or have you pick it up or drop off if you're local. Link I will put in this post. So once it's finished streaming, you'll be able to get to that post and register for one of those. There's also a link for a donation, or one if you just want the stamps and the cards. That the retreat's we're gonna have some stamping, so there'll be 4 cards designed with the stamp set that I have yet to play with. So your guess is as good as mine, but I'm excited, and I hope that you'll love it as much as I do. All right, that's it for that. This is the mini catalog, so now you'll know what to look for. I can only show you the outside. All right, isn't it cute? Okay, so the card we're going to work on first here is this card done with Encircled in Nature. We've used it before. It is an online exclusive, so you won't find it in any catalog. You have to go online to find it. So Encircled in Nature. And let me get started on that. I'm going to try to keep this going quickly. So these are our pieces. This is all from that Encircled in Nature. All the pieces are from that. I did emboss with... I always forget what it's called. It's the brick something embossing folder. Anyways, okay. Now, I do need to figure out about where my my open window is going to be, because we're going to sponge that. And let me pull out my scrap paper here so that I can can do that. So let's go ahead and do that part, and then we'll get to some stamping. I want to make sure I keep the dark spot down here because I want it to get a little lighter as it comes around. All right, let's see if I did that okay. All right, that looks perfect. Let's go ahead and stamp this, and we are going to put this set of trees in that corner. I want to make sure they're straight. I don't want to get them over too far because I definitely want them to still show. There we go. I did get them over a bit far, so I might have to cut just a corner of this paper off here. Let me do that real quick. I got my trimmer here. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and put some green glue around here, and we'll get that in place. Let me go ahead and glue the rest of this right away. I don't think I need to put anything else under there. All right, let's get our trees sticking in there. Boy, I barely cut enough of that, didn't I? Go ahead and put some of this adhesive here, and then we can go ahead and stick that to the front of the card, and we'll finish the rest with that finished. Okay, this next little piece, we just have to find the matching spot, which I think is right here. So this is two different dies put together to create this little piece. So you have two pieces, a larger and a smaller, and I decided to use them together to make this little. Oh, I want to say thank you to one of my team members, Sandra, for sharing the design of this card. She shared it in our team Zoom last month, and I was like, ooh, I think my guys would love that card. So she let me copy her card. And I love the colors. So it's Night of Navy and soft sea foam. So sea was in there. You see, it was close, right? Okay, so the next thing we want to do is take these two pieces. I just want to mention that the die cuts, one die cuts two of these, and one die cuts two of these. So I think that's pretty cool. Very quick and easy to make this card, or to get ready for this card. I'm going to use the blue ink that should be left on here, hopefully, and just add a blue U to these little ferns, whatever. It could be some type of coral even. And we'll get a little more green glue on here and try not to make a huge mess. And then one more over here. Are you guys loving this weather? So here in Pennsylvania, we've had a horrendous heat wave for a long time. We had lots of rain. Thank you, Lord, for that. And last evening, my husband and I sat on the porch, and it was so lovely. It was cool. There was hardly any humidity. I was just loving it. So that's felt like a little bit like fall. And I'm sorry for those of you that just love the hot summer. I do not. My body doesn't tolerate the heat very well. Unfortunately, yeah, my son who has MS, his body doesn't tolerate heat either. But he has a reason. I just don't. I don't know. Maybe just because I'm not in it enough to get used to it. I'm sure that I could get used to it if I had to. All right, I'm trying to keep these off-centered a little bit so that you can see the blue under them, but also get them to glue down. All right, while that's finishing setting up there, let's go ahead and stamp our saying up here. The saying, "You mean so much to me," comes from the same set. So we'll put that on here. Hope that I get it straight the first time. There we go. All right, I'm not sure why I have that stamp out because I'm not going to use the flowers on here. All right, we need two more little touches. We need a little bow with our white baker's twine. It comes in the Neutrals baker's twine pack. And let me cut that. New scissors are wonderful. I'm keeping the cap on them so that I know that those are the ones I just got out. Because if I really need to cut ribbon, some of my other scissors have gotten used for other things. Just fold that glue dot under there so it's not sticking out all over the place. All right, so there's our bow, and then one more thing, we're going to add some gems. And I'm using the iridescent pearls because they're just so cute, and I thought a little sparkle would be the perfect touch for this card. Voila, that's it for that one. All right, so I hope you enjoyed that. It's just such a beautiful, love the colors. Oh, the ink that I used was Misty Moonlight, by the way. The cardstock was Night of Navy, but the ink was Misty Moonlight. Okay, let's go to the next one. Okay, this is our next card. And I have shown this before. I'm trying to think when, the quilting. But I'm going to go ahead and repeat it just because there's a couple extra little steps in here. I just realized that love is down here in the corner. And I was like, that's pretty cool. I was like, oh, that's supposed to say stamp the love. Okay, I digress. All right, let's get back. So I am using our Lavender Fields paper. It's really going to be hard because I love this side, but I don't think that it's going to go with, I don't know, it might. Let's play with it a minute. I'm going to go ahead and just give this a little bit of a tail. We'll just do a little center line, about 1/2 inch, and then we'll bring it in from either side to give us that perfect little tail. And because I want these to stand out a little bit more, although maybe I don't if I'm going to put it on here. Let's see what that looks like. Maybe we'll finish this before we finish that. I do think I'll have to go back to the other side, but isn't that gorgeous paper? But I think that I need a neutral for what we're doing. So yeah, we'll come back to that. Let's go ahead. When you do this pattern, you just need 4 strips. These are 1/2 inch each. And I wanted 4 different designs. I think those are the proper designs that I wanted. Yes, I believe so. Okay, so you could put an X across here if you want to, or you can just, yeah, not do that. Let's do this. So what I want is both of these pieces to just reach the corner, each of them vying for that corner spot. Okay. And then I think what I might do here real quick is just put a dab of glue in this corner because I don't need to weave at the corner. And that way that will stay in place for me. Then we'll take the other 2 pieces and we're going to weave those in here opposite. So I'm putting them on opposite pieces like that. Okay. So that in here you've got this nice little 4 square. Again, these pieces need to go to the corner. But before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and glue this end down, and that will keep me from fiddling back and forth trying to get them to all stay where they need to be. So we'll get those two glued down. Now we can get these in place, and we'll put them right against that corner there and this corner here. Let me bring it down this way a little bit. Okay, now once that's done, I can go ahead and glue these in place as well. And once more, we'll get this end. And I'm keeping them all pushed together really good because I don't want them to, I don't want to be able to see that there's any weight between them. All right, so now we have that. The next thing that we're going to do, hopefully that's all glued on there, is get rid of everything that's over the edge. So best way to do that is just to turn it over so you can see right where the edge of that card is, and just trim that off. This is so easy to do. It looks like it would be difficult, but it's so easy to do. Well, not this part, but getting this quilt patch done is just awesome. Of course, I don't have to do any sewing, so that's great, right? I'm still seeing some edges of color here that I don't want to see. All right, let me get rid of those. Okay, now we just need to put on these 4 little squares. They are 3/4 of an inch, and I'm gonna use green glue, only because, let me just get the glue off the tip of this so it doesn't keep sticking, because we're going to emboss this whole image, and I think it's going to be better if there's plenty of glue on there so that you really get a cool embossing look. It's going to go right on the edge, on the corner, and that's why you don't want any of that color sticking over to show. I think that'll be okay. Let's do this one. You see how that makes that look like I cut that in a tail? That's what I thought was so cool about this, because when I saw it, I'm like, oh my goodness, how do I get that perfect design all the way around there? You don't have to. All you have to do is pop these little guys in the corner and you've got it. Sorry, I'm taking so long with this, but I want them to be very, very straight, so that it looks like we sewed our quilt straight. Actually, I see just a little bit of edge hanging over there. Turn it over. Oops. All right. All right, so we're finished with that, and now we're ready to emboss this. So I have my eyelet embossing folder, and I'm going to just pop this in here and just make sure that it's going to be straight. Make sure that my pieces are dried on there and staying in place. And then I'm going to run that through my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. And now you can't even see that that was an extra little piece. I think that's so cool. All right, now I pulled out shaded spruce because I felt like it went the best with the designer paper in this. So I feel like, there we go. Let's go ahead and we'll just use some green glue in here. Okay. All right, now that we've got that in place, let's go ahead and put it on here and see what we think. Excuse me. I actually don't hate that. So I was going to show you how I sponged white on this to maybe to make it a little more mellow with the crumb cake behind there. But let's go ahead and do this one with this color, because everybody at class will get to choose which side of the paper they want to use. So maybe we'll offer them this. It's so beautiful. So hard to turn over and see a much plainer side, right? I did not get that straight. Give me one more second here. See if I can. Okay. Now this I am just going to put on with green glue. And plenty of it, because it's got all that texture. And we want to make sure it's going to stay where it's supposed to. Make sure I have this straight. I didn't add a greeting to this card yet, and I do want to do that, but I didn't get that part done. All right, and now you can pop this up or you can glue it flat. I think we're going to pop it up on this one. Grab my black dimensionals here. Not that, just because they're here, not because I wanted that color necessarily. And then one nice thing with them is that the covers come off really easily, which is cool. All right, see if I can center that. And then one last thing that I want to do is add a piece of ribbon. I'm using this, I can't remember what it's called, but it's a wider ribbon, and I just cut it down the center. It's got white polka dots on it, and I don't want a lot of it. So I'm just going to pull that apart and just use part of it. Let me get all the little strands of stuff off of there. It ends up being just like a piece of jute, and has a little bit of shimmer to it. But I didn't want the whole big bow, so it's always fun to cut those if you can. All right, there we go. We just need to add a shimmer in the center, and I'm using our Purple Fine Shimmer Gems for that. And I'm gonna grab, maybe I'll try this color. There we go. All right, I'm gonna get this so you can see all the detail of it. So the choice is between the crumb cake background, a little more neutral, or the really busy, flowery background. Tell me which is your favorite. I would love to hear what you think. It'll be interesting. Maybe I can see what you guys think, and then see what they chose in class, and see which one wins. Okay. All right, let's get to the next one. Okay, here's our third one, and you can see I have a ton of stuff for this one. It's just a little bit messy, but it's going to be fun. We have turtles. Isn't that cool? I'm so excited. All right, so let's get started. Okay, I think we've got all of our pieces. Get that. These out of the way. All right, we're going to start with the background, the messy background. So I'm going to just put all my pieces over here so that I hopefully don't make a mess of them. All right, we are doing bubble wrap. Yay! I'm going to just see if I can fix my camera here in a minute. I zoomed out just because there's so much going on with this card so that you can see everything. And let's see, we're going to be using some ink pads later. Right now we're using ink refills. So I am going to do some drops of Lemon Lime Twist. some, look, I'm missing a bottle. Lost Lagoon. Okay. I'm thinking I just used 2 of those. And then I'm going to spritz, and I'm losing everything here, with some, I think I have alcohol in here. You can use water, but alcohol dries a little bit faster if you're on the ball and ready to go. So I'm going to just get this good and wet. I want the colors to blend together a little bit. So I'm going to take my brush and just get them blended out here a little bit. Should do one color at a time. All right, we'll rinse that then. I'm going to put just a little bit more on here, make it good and wet. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is take our, I have actually almost a baggy type, and I'm going to put my card on my scrap paper, and hopefully we got that inked up good. You might have to do it twice. We'll get some different angles on here. I want the whole thing covered. Now, I'm going to stop there, but we still have plenty of ink on here. So I used it several times. We'll go ahead and add a little bit more of the alcohol. Take another piece of paper. You can make several cards with one inking. No use wasting ink, right? Get these edges filled up here. Okay. I sort of like that second. It's a little more spotty, so I'm going to go back and do that to this one as well. I like that spotty look. Okay, there's 2. I think I could probably get one more. Let's go ahead and do one more. I did 3 or 4 on the last, on my sample one. We're running out of ink, but it's still going to give a pretty cool look, I'm sure. Just a little lighter tone. There we go. So we get a lighter, let me pull them down here so you can see all of them. I think this was our first one. You can see how it's a little darker. It got a little bit lighter and a little bit lighter and more not as solid. So depending on what you want out of it, you've got 3 options to choose from. I'll go ahead and use our, maybe our medium brightest one for our card. Okay, next we're using several stamp sets for this card. So we're using the sea turtles, which are a favorite of almost everybody, right? We are using the this die from the Changing Leaves and the embossing folder. So it's a hybrid embossing folder die. And then we are using some of the dies, excuse me, the 2 coral dies and the grassy things from this set. So Seaside Wishes. So 3 different stamp sets. I know I don't typically do that, but I saw this idea and I really wanted to go with it. All right, so I need my scrap paper back. I'm going to do a little bit of sponging real quick. We're going to create an edge. This is absolutely not a necessity, but I think that it'll give a little bit of extra oomph to the card. A little more creativity. So I'm sponging with the green, which we use the lemon lime. Actually, this is Old Olive. We use lemon lime twist for the spots. So I'm going to get Old Olive on here. And then I want to add some Lost Lagoon. And you can sponge it on, or you can dab it on. I think the dabbing is sort of cool because we have the spotted look on the other part of it. So this will make it a little bit spotted. All right, I just need to cut this across here. I need one for the top and one for the bottom of our card. And we're going to take this piece and just tear off a corner of it so that we have that showing. So I'm going to put it up to my piece and make sure I don't take too much off. So that will go there. And then up here we'll do the same thing. Okay, let me go ahead and glue those down. Let's see, where's my green glue? And then we can go ahead and put that in place. And then we can get to the fun of making the turtles. I just want to make sure this is nice and square when I'm finished. Well, okay, you want me to lay you down? That's fine. I didn't want to get glue on my mat. Okay, we'll do we? Yeah, I had to put glue on that one. All right. Let's go ahead and glue this on our background. Just get the edges of that there since I didn't really glue those very well. And our background is Lost Lagoon. Okay, got my card folded, very crooked. Was rushing before the video to do that, and I didn't do a good job. Looks like my bone folder's missing. All right, okay, so our background is finished. We just need to do some stamping, and there's a little bit of ink on this yet. I don't want too much, but I just want to add a little bit of blue to my leaves, a little bit of color. I don't know if you can see the beautiful pattern in here, but I have done this before. I know trying to show you it with white is like, it's amazing how this camera cannot do white. I don't understand that. I'm going to go ahead and put a touch of green on here as well. Okay, and then let's put a little bit of blue on our coral. I know coral isn't typically blue, but we'll just get a little color on there. I'm not going to go back and add any color to my sponge dauber. Oh, I keep bending it, but that's okay. That'll give it some extra shape, right? All right, so I'm going to put those aside. We'll get to those in a second. Let's go ahead and stamp our turtles, and we're going to stamp them in Pretty Peacock on Pretty Peacock. I'm just gonna trying to think if I cut this wide enough to do it that way. Okay, there's one. There's the mama. Now we have to do the baby. Put him on here. All right, now I'm not going to bore you with the cutting out part, but I do want to show you how I added some dimension, which I know you couldn't see on screen, but I want to show you how I added dimension to this. So let me just close. Whoops, I just stuck my finger in that again. Thank goodness for this piece of tissue that I had in here. Okay. So what I did was I went and traced around it on the right side so that I knew where the design was. So in the space that doesn't have ink, I'm going to go around and press into my mat. Actually, I might use the smaller tip for that. And then I'll use the larger one for the... So I'll just go around here so that when I turn this over to the other side, and should I zoom in a tad so that you can see what I'm doing? I know my lights, I don't know if I have them high enough. I know they're probably, my batteries are about shot, so it might, I better hurry. I'm just tracing where there is no ink. And then I will, and I'm not being very careful, I just want to get an outline so that I can see from the other side. I'm being particularly sloppy on this because I'm trying to hurry. But anyways, I think you'll be able to get the idea. Okay, so now that I have that pretty much outlined, I'm going to go to the other side, and hopefully you can see my lines there. Hopefully they will make sense to me, and I'll be able to fill in, you just see here, yeah. I'm just going to press and fill in these areas inside of all of these little squiggly lines so that he will have, he or she, I guess it's a mama, so she will have some extra, what do I want to call it, texture on her back like turtles do. And of course, if you can't quite figure out where you're at, you can go to the other side and get a little more idea of how much definition you need there. Like I said, I'm rushing this a lot, so this is a really big one here. All right, so I'm just going to come back over here and again use the bigger one to go around here to sort of press that back in. I think I wish I hadn't used the smaller one. It left a little bit more pretty like sharp line that I really didn't want. So I'm using the larger one now, so that'll help to like get rid of that sharp line, I hope. Okay, and then once I have it cut out, I'm going to go back in and pop. I definitely have a raised edge here. I'm not sure that you'll be able to see that, but her body is definitely raised up. I want to put a little more right in here. So it looks cool. It has lots of definition on it. And so we'll cut that out and get that popped on. Let me just give you a second here to do that. Okay, we're almost done cutting her out. A couple more snips. All right, Mama and baby are done. All right, let's grab some dimensionals. I'm gonna stack a couple on top of each other here in the center. I'm going to use a few dimensionals on this baby. Oops. All right, let's do one more. And for the baby, I did not do any scoring on that one. I think I did on this one, but I'm just going to try to get a little bit of rounding here for the body. Like I said, I forgot my bone folder, so I don't have that. Okay. All right, so let's get all of our pieces back in here. We are putting, we're going to put this leaf down first, and I think I'm going to trim the edge off, and I'm not putting any dimensionals on these because I think all the ones we have on the turtle will be plenty. Pop that about there. I'll come back and trim that off later. I do want to put, I wish that had a little bit more blue on it, but maybe not. It'll be good. I'm going to just put glue in the center and pop this under here a little. And that leaf will help to hold that down. How's that? Okay, then let's decide where we want our turtle to go. Let's put Mama here. And then, like I said, I'm going to snip this off. And I'm going to add my other coral. Down here before we put the baby down. Okay, let me pop a dimensional on this one. Put him off to the side there. I got some glue on there. And oh, I forgot my grasses. Let's see if we can tuck these under here before this gets too glued up. Too sticky. I'm not sure that I need any glue on because it's going to be... There we go. They just reminded me of the grasses that you see turtles chomping on, so that's why I stuck those on there. All right, and now I did take a saying from Something Fancy, the Happy Birthday. I'm going to try to stamp that nice and straight on here. You know what? I don't feel very... what's the word? I don't feel like I can do it very well, so I'm going to try doing this. I think I just smeared that. Let's try it on the other side. Not a good day. Not a good day for stamping nice and straight. Okay, that's better. Whew. Okay. And I just need a nice straight edge on this, so let me snip that and snip this one. And what I want to do is I want to pop it up over here. So I'm going to put just a little tiny piece of dimensional. I'll just trim it right off the edge here. And I only need a small piece. Actually, that might even be too big, but tuck that on there. And we'll put just a little bit of green glue on the other side to stick to the turtle. And then we're done. Except for gems. We need some gems. Some pearls of the sea, right? I'm using the blooming pearls because they have the perfect colors. And we're going to just pop two of them right up here. Voila! I keep forgetting that I zoomed this in. Sorry. Okay, I hope you enjoyed that. Try some fun, messy backgrounds. It can be fun. I think last week I did a messy background, right? It wasn't as messy as this. Okay, let's go to the final one. Okay, our fourth and final project, again, because I just totally did the whole recording of this card and didn't push record, I guess. Crazy stuff, right? Anyways, it's this card, and it's done with our Sophisticated Sled bundle, which you know I love. I did that class last month with that, the Stamp-A-Stack, and I wanted to do a card with the actual stamp, because the rest of it I did mostly with the die cut pieces, but this is actually stamped and die cut out, of course. But we're going to ink that with Early Espresso. I have it on my Stamparatus here so that I can get them all cut out ahead for class. While I'm doing this, I just want to remind you that these 4 projects can be yours. You can either attend a class, which is this week, so you may have missed it, but if you place a $50 minimum order online, you will get all 4 of these projects mailed to you. So that's another way you can get those. Let's go ahead and do this piece. This is our little tag, and I have that, I'm using white ink, and I'm not embossing it. So I put it on the Stamparatus because I want to be able to stamp it a couple of times and make sure that it gets inked really good. Okay, so sometimes if you just stamp in white, you don't get a really good solid image. You see how it's sort of like gray and smudgy looking. So we're going to do it a couple of times to get it nice and bright. Gotta get it on that W there. So I love the Stamparatus for this. Alright, everything but the W is coming out. So let's see if we can just ink that part instead of putting ink on everything else. I might just need to be pressing it a little bit firmer. Oops, now I smeared it. Well, well, well. Let's try another one. Let me grab another one out of the container here. I have a bunch of them cut for class, so might as well make it look decent if we're going to do it, right? If you're going to do it right. Just pop this one out of there. I will try to do a little better job this time of making sure I'm pressing in all the areas. This die is, there is a direction to that, as you see. I had to turn that around so that it would fit in there properly. I'll press a little harder on that end. When I set things up on here, I do try to get them fairly far away from this this hinge, because it does hold things up from pressing down completely. And yeah, you can see I didn't get it real far away, but it's not terribly close either. Alright, hopefully. My last one turned out perfect. That's not too bad. It's a little bit smushy, but we'll let it dry there while we finish everything else. Okay, let me just clean this off. I thought I had a clean pad there. Just going to get some of that white ink off of there so it doesn't build up on there. Alright, so this is a craft ink, so we put that aside to dry because it will smear if we don't let it dry. Alright, the next thing that I want to do while this is still a little bit wet is I brought a blender pen. I think when I did my sample card I had used a water painter, but a blender pen works just as well and it doesn't get your card real wet. Besides, I don't want the design to smear, and your water painter will do that. I just want to pull some of the color. You can see this is just a clear pen. I am not adding any color to this. It's just pulling the ink that's on this design, and we're just filling in the wood a little bit. And then we'll do the crossbar here. Alright, I think that looks pretty good. While we're coloring, let's go ahead and color our ribbon right away. I have our iridescent trim, which I think is off of the inventory that wasn't available list. I think it's off of that now. I hope that you can get this, because I've been using it and bragging about how wonderful it is, and then it wasn't available. But I cut it in half so that we just have a narrow piece, and I just want to get red on it. There we go. Let's get that tied. And when it's narrower, it's so much easier to tie as well. Okay, so now we can put everything together. Hopefully I don't have red coming off my fingers while we do this. And we're going to put our design piece, our emboss piece, isn't that pretty? Mossy Meadow on top of the little bit of red to stick out. So we'll get that on there and hope that it's cut properly. Okay, and now I can use my Seal Plus that I love so much. I hear so many people saying about how much they hate it, and I love it so much, and I use it all the time. You guys know that I do, and I just can't believe that somebody can hate it so much, because it's so easy to use and it sticks so good. All right, so we are going to add some glue dots. I knew I was going to run out. I've got maybe, do I have enough? I need 3. Stay on there. I need 1 for there, 1 for there. I'm really having trouble this time. Do I have 1 more? Yeah, I have 1 more for the bow. Let's go ahead and stick him on there. Okay. All right. So the reason I did that was because I want to put a little bit of linen thread. So I'm just going to stick it there. Bring it up here. See how much I want. Bring it back down. Give it a snip so it doesn't show. And then, yeah, that should be good. Now you could do it, you could put it through the hole, but it really isn't going to show and it's not going to make a difference. So you might as well save your energy, in my opinion. And I say that as a person who really lacks probably the energy that she should have. Maybe just a little too much going on in my life. Thank you to all those that came to the yard sale on Saturday. We had a fabulous yard sale. I think a lot of product went out of that church. So, yeah, it was amazing. And a lot of ladies were able to get rid of things that, so they could get new things. So that was pretty cool. It's always fun to revitalize your supplies, right? Have something new to stamp with. Let's go ahead and pop our bow on here. There you go. You see what I mean? You don't even see where that that string comes down. So, all right, we are ready to put our Let It Snow on here, and I'm going to just grab 1 dimensional, put it right there, and then on the other side I'll put a little bit of green glue. I'm still not happy with how that looks. I'm not sure why. The first one turned out perfect. The one I didn't get on video. All right. And let's give this just a little bit of a trim so it's not going crazy. And there we go. That's it. The finished card. So that's 4, folks. I hope that you enjoyed those and got some tips and tricks that you can use. And yeah, so this set, don't forget, it is online exclusive, as well as the that nature one, the Encircled in Nature one that we did first, or the second card. So there's so many great things that are online exclusives right now that you don't want to miss. So be sure and check that out. If you go to my website listed right up here and you type in the search bar online exclusives, the online exclusives will come up, and then you want to click view all. It's a little red button. It's not a button, it's just some words that are in red that say view all. Click on view all, and if you want to see the newest ones, there's also over here in the corner, you can sort by newest, and that's what I usually try to do so that I can see what the newest stuff is. I don't know why it doesn't automatically come up that way, but it doesn't always, so